Cold open question of the week, Kaz.
What up, Shoes?
It was reported by Dave Meltzer, I believe, that Toni Storm's sudden departure from AEW storylines last week was not due to an injury, but it is still the report that she's suddenly going to be gone for a number of months in an unexpected way. I mean, at an unexpected timing. Now, of course, there's widespread, theories going on that she's pregnant. I don't have any information on that, so I don't want to push that rumor. Instead, I'd like to push another rumor. If you had to make up the best possible excuse for Toni Storm mysteriously suddenly being out for 6 months to a year, and you can't pick injury or pregnancy, what do you pick?
Movie, clearly. I mean, I feel like that's the easiest thing, right? Like, just have Toni Storm, have a video package of her on like some movie set. And like it's
like
not
a real
period
movie,
piece,
not
so
like not just a kayfabe movie.
Yeah, no, a real deal movie. Like have somebody rich enough and as big of a mark to be like, I need Toni Storm in my period piece film of such and such. Now it seems like she's probably pregnant, but don't want to assume. However.
But it all happened so quickly. Like they had her scheduled to wrestle Marina and had to make a backstage switch to Mina Shirakawa real fast, according to all the reporting. Again, she may well be pregnant, but like, is she taking the test backstage and not the night before? Like, and not the, it seems like a weird, I don't know. I just hope it's something really exciting. Like, I wish the best for her and her potential family and everything else. But man, we haven't had any wrestlers just like straight up get arrested for like, robbery or assault in a while. That would be cool. If it would,
oh yeah. Yeah. You think that could be it?
Yeah, just straight up like the FBI shows up at the backstage area and like we got to take her into custody. That would be a real old school wrestling.
We're taking it downtown.
Exactly. Downtown. Yeah. And think of everything it could do with it when she comes back, just like old black and white. The spotlight is on her in the interrogation room, and there's like cops smoking cigars and yelling at. See that's something they could really work with. Anyway, good luck. Good luck to Toni Storm. Let's start the show. Welcome to the Masked Man Show with Kaz. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Shoes. How about yourself, man?
I know you've had some very important stuff going on at your day job over at Hot 97. We have some important...
Very, very busy couple of days at Hot 97. Busy days, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. You all see it coming out real soon, but if the episode's out a little later than usual, this is why.
So people might see some video of this in the social feed. We'll be up in a full video format very soon. But just for those of you who can't see what we're doing right now, Kaz is wearing Nick's. It looks like he's like on the Knicks sideline right now. When he put on his headphones, I said we're joined now by Spike Lee because he's in like fully in orange and blue. But
I'm Knicks out today, man.
The hat is not technically a Knicks hat, right?
No, this is my good guys. Hold on a second, make sure I'm reading this correctly. Siegelman Stable, man. They got some great, dope gear. You know what I'm saying? They made some stuff for the Knicks, as you can see right here.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It used to be so legitimately, the guy who owns it used to own still owns, his family owns like a horsing stable up in, Westchester, New York.
And they just do cool gear.
And he made some cool hats and like the Knicks liked it. And it just like turned into this explosion of streetwear culture. And now you just see mad people wearing, Siegelman Stable everywhere.
I love it.
Yes, there's a real Siegelman Stable in New York where there's like horses that you can get. Or ride, I guess. I don't know. But
I'm a big
Merrill
fan.
had a whole, we just saw Merrill here before. He had a whole campaign over here. If you come to New York and, come to the Garden, you'll see him in Siegelman Stable.
Dude, I
out
love
here
it.
and some billboards and stuff.
Here's my
like
question
that.
for you, though,
man.
because you're dressed up. Clearly, you get dressed up for your morning show in a way that you don't get dressed up for the Masked Man Show every week. You said you got to make sure your outfit's on point. But here's my question. You know how sometimes news anchors will be caught when they're like in like they're wearing like shorts underneath the table. Like they'll wear like the suit from the waist up, but they'll have on just like some pajama pants. Do you ever do that? Like, are you totally fitted up in Knicks gear from the waist up, but secretly you're just wearing like some really out of style like sweatpants that don't match on the bottom?
I mean, so I'm with that with my sneakers, right? Like, if we're doing 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, like, I have to be, fitted from top to bottom.
Yeah, because you're on stage, you're like, whatever. Yeah.
It's a full thing, you know what I mean? But, like, here, like, I'll have, like, a nice fit up top and some dusties on my feet. Like, I got some dusties on right now. Hold on, let me see if I can pull these up.
Dusty? By dusties, you just mean dusty old shoes?
Yeah, like, I mean, they don't look too bad on the camera, but like, they got a little tint to it. There's some fours.
Well, I mean,
some Yankee colors.
You gotta be particular in New York, Or they like New York streets and subway appropriate? You don't want to mess anything up too much.
Yeah, you got to think a little bit more, logically when it comes to wearing New York. Like for weeks, like the first couple of weeks I had 97, I was wearing them big Seth Rollins boots to the studio because there was just snow everywhere, and they looked crazy. They were big giant duck boots made by my guy Omar, and Seth Rollins wore them a couple times during his fashionista era. He's a lot more simple with his clothing choices now, but not only are they big and ridiculous looking, they were super functional because I could actually get around like 5 feet of snow just stomping.
Like your buddy, like the designer who made them?
Yeah.
See, I'm not. I know we're just going to be talking about clothes for this whole episode, so let us know, guys. I know this is probably not cool, but I will not trust my need for waterproof garments to like small time designers. I don't care how much money they cost.
Well, like he's not small time.
If I'm going to go out in the rain and the snow and I'm putting on shoes for the occasion, you better believe I'm wearing like LL Beans or, like whatever, like Timberlake, like some well-established brand that theoretically would have been sued by now if they were lying about their waterproof technology.
Well, now I got to put him over because his company is called Factory Lab, right? And
that sounds like a real thing. Okay.
He created Factory Lab because he used to be one of the head designers over at Yeezy. So he was a big, you know what I mean?
Like, I wouldn't trust Yeezys to keep my feet dry either, but okay.
Oh, no, not to keep my feet dry. I don't know, but nice little slip-on dad shoe. Like the Yeezy dad shoe game is legit. Like there's 2 or 3, like the Air Yeezys and like the first run of Adidas Yeezys. You don't, I mean, the first 2 Nike Yeezys, those are like one of one art pieces. Like you should never ever like take those out of any case, wear them on any pavement, anything ever unless you got stupid amounts of money. But the Yeezy Boosts and like the Yeezy Slides revolutionized the dad shoe game for everyone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
all right, I'm looking at Factory Lab now. This is a choice.
Yes, it is a choice.
There's nothing bad about this. This is
when I said Seth Rollins wore those, you should know these are a choice. Like these aren't just regular boots. These are definitely, they definitely make a statement when you wear them. I always get a look when I wear them too. I always get like a once over, like, yo, look at those boots. I'm like, yeah, feet are warm. All right,
well, listen, I take everything about the waterproof concept back about this because this is just like wearing a giant piece of rubber on your foot. So I'm sure it's totally dry. Anyway, let's get to the stuff that really...
Not great for the Achilles, though. I'll say that.
We were just talking about Achilles injuries. We're talking about Achilles injuries, me and Brian, before you popped on. Mm-hmm. The rehab game, we've seen it in the world of basketball and football. But in basketball, most recently, we have Jason Tatum coming back from a torn Achilles after, less than a year?
Yeah,
is that the timeline we're on?
Yeah.
And I remember when it happened, my boss, Bill Simmons, was like immediately on a podcast and he was like, well, if I've heard that they figured this stuff out, but like if you don't get on an airplane and you operate within 24 hours or whatever the time period was, it's like you can have a much shorter recovery. And it turned out he was totally right. It used to be Achilles would be like a 2-year thing, and you'd still be a mess when you got back. And now it's a lot better. Now, listen, pro wrestling is not, it's, a shockingly short recovery time is not novel in pro wrestling. John Cena famously tore his tricep before that SummerSlam match with Danielson and came back like later that day, I think. He was like his injury healed up so fast. It was crazy. But now we're looking at the reason why I mentioned this is because after Raw last night, how many minutes did it take us to get to professional wrestling, Brian? What's the timer? Because after Raw last night, we saw a showdown between Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. And just as I think you predicted last time we were on, just as a lot of people I think predicted, Paul Heyman is on an island. For one, because everybody's hurt except for Brock Lesnar, who's got a dance partner in Oba Femi. We'll talk more about that. Mm-hmm. And Austin Theory and Logan Paul, who have a tag team match that they're clearly setting up against the Usos. They weren't even out there with Heyman because they had just got beaten up. My guess watching that segment is that we're going to go into some sort of Heyman versus Seth Rollins, no hole, anything goes match, which would allow for interference, or maybe more traditionally, a Heyman and a partner of his choice against Seth Rollins match. And of course, if everything goes according to plan, that turns out to be Bron Breakker, who supposedly is still out with an injury. I don't know. What do you think? Or are we getting worked by injury timelines, or is this just like, it's crazy how fast people can recover with the right kind of, shall we say, medical assistance?
Yeah, I think it's a little of both. I think athletes and wrestlers specifically are trying their best to recover as fast as they can. And on top of that, it's WrestleMania. Like, nobody wants to miss WrestleMania. If there's a chance that, like, I'm sure Bron Breakker won't be 100% by WrestleMania, but like, if you mean to tell me he could be like 82% or like, by the time it's April 17th, 18th, I'm like, yeah, I'm taking that chance, and they kind of shot you some bail with the Paul Heyman storyline last night, where it just kind of felt like, are we going to get Seth Rollins versus Paul Heyman at WrestleMania on like a no holds barred, no disqualification, like street fight sort of thing? Like, possibly, I always say when they introduce something, you kind of feel like that's going to be a storyline tool, hopefully in the future when it's a good story. And the fact that Paul Heyman was like, I sue, I tell, my people snitch. You violated my violated my restraining order. You know what I mean? And now you're going to jail. It's like, all right, well, Seth Rollins is probably going to figure out a way to use that same sort of tactic to not just get back at Paul Heyman, but probably get a match out of him and do everything that he wants to him physically, because Paul Heyman is a guy who we all want to see get his ass kicked. That being said, he said something along the lines of, "Oh, there's nothing else standing in between me. I have nowhere else to hide." That's the dead giveaway that I'm like, okay, Bron Breakker's probably gonna, come and save this guy before he gets his ass handed to him.
If they do it as a no holds barred match, just one-on-one, but then Bron Breakker runs out and he's in the match, basically, functionally. Wouldn't it be great if I know Paul Heyman's going to wear a fucking suit to the ring. I guess they could put him in like a sweatsuit, but it would be so great if they just put him in the old Dusty Rhodes, like, no holds barred match gear, like the jeans with the bandanas around the knees and cowboy boots.
Oh, you know what's coming. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
I am a man.
Yeah. That would be so great if they really did it up and tried to get you to take him seriously. Yeah, that could be really fun. But it feels like that's where they're going with this one. We've got a lot of things that are set up. I mentioned Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. They had their second face-to-face last night. This one Brock was ready for, but Brock still got tossed outside the ring. I'll tell you one thing, man. When Oba put clothesline Brock over the top rope, Brock leapt with all of the leaping that his legs could muster. If there was any question about whether or not Brock was going to sell for this guy, between last week him telling him to put his foot on his chest, and this week the way he just exploded out of the ring, I think this match is going to be a lot of fun.
There's no match that I'm looking forward to more than this one at WrestleMania weekend, even more than both main events. I think Cody and Randy is going to be great. I think Punk and Roman's going to be great. But Oba and Brock is the music I like to listen to, man. That is my jam. Anybody that's listened to this show knows when it comes to big, meaty men bumping meat, that's my jam. Just big offense, big hulking, superhuman airport passing guys, airport test passing guys
Yeah.
in a match with one another is what WrestleMania is all about. You know what I mean? Like, that's why you go to watch WrestleMania. I love the graps. I love the undersized guys. I love the catch-as-catch-can stuff. I grew up on monstrous humans fighting at WrestleMania. And these are the two monstrous ones you can get.
And it's weird because like as much hype as there's been for Oba Femi and as much as we've been behind him and everything else, I feel like after last night was the first time I really started seeing lots of people say like, oh, Oba Femi's going to carry this company for the next decade. Like,
the hype's part of the storyline now. Like, Heyman saying he's all hype or he's overhyped and all this type of stuff. It's like they're acknowledging that, like, he's probably the most hyped dude they've had since Lesnar. You know what I mean? And as far as, like, the style of wrestler and, like, you know, the fact that he named all these people from the past that was supposed to be either a badder dude than him or the one who took him down. So they're playing into it. They know what they got in him. So making that a storyline point is basically saying, hey, if this guy beats Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, he's worth the hype. He is worth being like the next big thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
But he still might not win. I mean, I would just say more than any other match on that card, I would say winning and losing matters the least. If he loses, it will be because they have a plan for him to overcome. You know, like it's like it really doesn't matter. What matters is that the match is more than 5 minutes long, hopefully. Now, if you want to talk about short matches, I'll go to one of the other ones you mentioned. I agree with you about Cody and Randy. If you go to WWE's Twitter feed right now, you'll see that the pinned tweet is still Randy Orton demolishing Cody Rhodes. Despite the fact that some time has passed since then. That was that is the moment from this build to WrestleMania that will live in our memories forever. But as much as I hate to say it, I can't imagine the match living up to that. You know what I mean? Am I crazy? You tell me if I'm crazy. I feel like the only match that would actually live up to that, the feeling that we got during that beatdown, is a Randy Orton squash. It's like Brock beating up Cena. It's just like, holy fuck! Like Cody was not ready for this match.
Even if he gets punted, even if like something happens to him, super, you know what I mean, violently.
No, Cody,
yeah.
No, I just think Randy should beat the shit out of him. I think Randy should just like demolish him and then let Cody try to get it back. You know, let there be let there be a chase. But I know they probably can't do that because it's 2 nights and you can't just like punt, no pun intended, on one of your main events. But I would love to see Randy just beat the living shit out of Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
he'll be bleeding. You know, it's all going to happen. But inevitably, they're going to have a 25-minute match, which is not going to be bad. But you know, you kind of know what that's going to look like. Randy can't be a psychopath for 25 minutes. He's only going to go full psycho at the end. You know, and the rest is going to be kind of secondary. That's just one man's opinion. I don't know.
But, you know, Cody said something very important right before he got his ass beat. After he took the pressure off of Randy to say all that stuff, he said, yo, after I get all that, just know that I will always love you. You know what I mean? So, like, maybe we don't get that. Maybe we get the super violent, super, you know, insane sort of match between these two, and they legitimately hug it out afterwards and walk to the back. Like, that's a possibility. Or Cody's the guy who's like, yeah, I'll always love you. And then he just like maybe shoves it up Randy's ass and like, you know, and like maybe he's the guy who turns. I think you know what? The more I think about it, I think between the two, you know, prospective main events so far, Randy Cody is probably the one that who wins and loses matters the most. You know what I mean? Like, I think with Randy and Cody, they've been telling the story for the past 2 years, but really for the past 15, you know what I mean? Or however long it's been since, you know, Cody debuted and joined Evolution. The moment Cody became important, Randy became even more important. You know what I'm saying? Like, the moment Cody became a world champion and all that type of stuff, the value of Randy skyrocketed because he's Randy's boy. You know what I mean? Like, he is the proof, you know what I mean, that Randy being a fuck up is no longer a thing. You know what I mean? Like it feels like for the longest time, the entire story about Randy Orton was, he has all these talents and but he's kind of a knucklehead and XYZ. He wasn't the nicest guy when he was coming up. Clearly, he's changed. But when it comes to Cody, the fact that Cody became this megastar, you know what I mean, afterwards, is proof positive, at least storyline-wise, that Randy Orton is an OG now. Like, a legendary one at that, Like, Cody can't wrestle Arn Anderson or Ric Flair or Triple H or any of these guys that, like, really helped raise him, but Randy is still able enough to help tell that story. You know what I mean?
Well,
so who wins and loses and how they win and lose is extremely important.
My only argument against that is that Ric Flair, is ready and willing to take that match anytime you want to.
He's like, who can't wrestle, buddy? Woo, woo.
Yeah.
He said,
but you're right. You're right. Randy is incredibly important. And I do think winning and losing matters in that match. I mean, I think that with Cody, it's a little bit tough because I think more so than anybody else in the roster, I don't want to tar him with the Super Cena thing. I mean, he's been through a lot of that before, but I do think that, like, Cody will inevitably Cody is the one wrestler who will inevitably overcome the odds. And it might take him 2 years like it did with Roman Reigns. It might take him, it might be a long story that they take forever to get back to. But that's just sort of his gimmick, right? I mean, he's a sort of superstar underdog. Let's talk about the other main event, though, because we had some stuff last night. Roman Reigns and CM Punk found themselves in the same ring again. Roman really laid into Punk. Do you think that they plan to wear white shirts on the same day? Like, it's, I know this is a stupid question, but like, it just felt so glaring to me that, like, of all, like, they both just got new white gimmicks or new white gear on the same night. Was that just totally random?
It might have been. Anytime I see the white t-shirts, I'm like, ooh, somebody's bleeding.
Yeah, it's true. Punk's out there in the big white Punk hoodie, and then Roman Reigns had, I think, a new Roman Reigns t-shirt on that was white, but he came out in the black, took off his jacket, exposing the shirt, and then took off his ponytail after the first Superman punch. Because this seemed to be very much a choice that he was devolving sort of into his in-ring ass-kicking persona and not just the super cool, laid back tribal chief outside the ring persona, but I guess the Usos were in there antagonizing Punk. Punk was trying to provoke them as much as he could. And then when they finally got into it, Roman sprung up from behind and hit Punk with a Superman punch to the back of the head, which seems like it would really hurt. If you get that right in the small, in the nape of the neck. Then Roman hit a spear. Roman did the power bomb outside the ring. And the interesting thing here was that it looked like Jey Uso was the one calling the shots. The announce team was on it. What should we make of this? Of not just the beatdown, but Jey Uso being the sort of coach in this setup?
Kind of feels like Jey Uso's leaning back into being the right-hand man again. And when he was a certified crash out, when he was somebody who was the hothead of the bloodline, he was the guy, remember all those intense, it's funny how far away we've come from, like, those intense Sami Zayn promos where we would just watch Jey Uso just like stirring and just couldn't wait to be the one to like kick Sami's teeth in because he just couldn't stand this dude being an honorary Us. And then we've seen little bits and pieces of that in the past couple of weeks. And in this past, just on Monday, last night, Jey gets the brass knucks, knocks everybody out with it, does not care,
But I guess,
and then
Brian, as their resident Roman Reigns fanboy, I guess what I'm wondering is there more to read into this? Like, is it possible that Jey's not just moving back into his role as the right-hand man, but he might be like low-key gunning for the throne?
I thought when everything was happening, so Roman being back to 2022 when he was a menace and beating them with chairs. And like Kaz said, like certified crash out Jay. Watching Jay go through all this, I'm sitting there as like, all right, this is the Jey Uso that pushed Roman Reigns to like, all right, I got to keep him in line, but also make an example out of him and get the roster straight.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I saw it.
All right. What you guys are saying makes more sense of what I'm saying. But the whole thing of him saying like, get him again, just felt like less like cheerleading and more like game planning. Does that make sense? I don't know. They got to be doing something here, right?
Well, what's the game plan? I mean, it feels like, it's never really been about like, especially in the past 2 weeks, it feels like they're both sort of trying to like game each other, Punk and Roman. Like at first Punk got into Roman's head about the dead dad. And then Roman got in Punk's head by calling him old. It's like, all right, we play mental games now. Who's going to be the first person to strike? Punk struck first. And then last night, Punk gets his ass handed to him, got the shit kicked out of him by all three of them. And the last thing he said is, I'm not the one that needs help. And I think they're still playing those mind games with each other where Punk's trying to get to Roman and say, you still need your brother's help to put me down. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah.
Well, Punk was laughing. He got put to the announce table and he was laughing about it, which is a total, just mind fuck. Pardon my French. Like you don't even know what he's thinking. I do feel like there's another shoe to drop with Jay, and maybe it's Punk needles him to the point that he gets pissed off at Roman, and maybe there's like a little double thing. But I mean, it's as mentioned before, it looks like the Usos are going to defend the tag titles at WrestleMania, so they're going to have to concentrate on that a little bit. I don't know if they're going to be involved in this match all the way through to the big dance, but maybe. I mean, it's much more interesting with them around. Because as magical as Punk and Roman have been on the mics in the past several weeks, there's a limit to like, I'm going to beat you up or like, I'm better than you, and yeah, you got to put a little bit more juice in there somehow. Cody Rhodes Cody Rhodes and Randy already got the, I'm going to actively try to murder you gimmick. So, there's not a lot left. I just think
murder you with love.
Yeah. But Punk and Roman, I mean, it's legitimately like, it's one of the most interesting matches on paper. It'd probably win the fan vote of like, what WrestleMania main event do you want to see? But it's because of that the build takes a little bit more work. You got to be able to say more than like, we're both popular. Yeah, and they've done a really good job of that. But I think that having the Usos there gives it more layers, obviously. It's pretty cool. Who do you think is going to win that match at WrestleMania? This is not an official pick, but what are you feeling right now?
Between Roman and Punk?
Yeah.
I think Roman Reigns is going to win. I think he's going to win. Punk's had an incredible run, and I think they're trying to get this match to a point where no interference is necessary. And Roman is trying to prove that I can do this without the Shield. I can do this without the Bloodline. I can do this without my wise man. I can do this all on my own. And, it would be nice to see a clean Roman Reigns victory at WrestleMania again for a world championship. And, there's going to be... I
agree. I mean, I would have said it was a toss-up, but I mean, I think Punk is so... I'm not saying he's been an over-the-top heel, but it's clear that he's making heel choices. We talked about that last week, Part of me thinks that he's just sort of setting himself up to be the loser in a deliberate way, But you just saying that, and something occurred to me. Maybe the reason why Punk was laughing, maybe Punk's whole, you can do it on your own, maybe the master plan is to get this match inside of a steel cage or to get inside Hell in a Cell, maybe if he convinces Roman that he doesn't need any help, Roman agrees to a stipulation like that. And then all of a sudden Punk's like, now I got you right where I want you. You know what I mean? Maybe there's something like that coming up. There were rumors that they were going to do. Oh, and they were going to run if they had run back Cody versus Drew, that would have been a Hell in a Cell match. So, the cell might be out of the storage unit right now, just ready to be driven off to Las Vegas.
That's a strong possibility. It kind of feels like everybody. It feels like at least 5 matches on WrestleMania, maybe 4. I'm gonna say 4 for safety. 4 matches in WrestleMania could justify use of a Hell in a Cell at this point.
Yeah,
It's a violent build to WrestleMania. Like, obviously, Roman Punk has gotten so personal that could happen. Mm-hmm. Cody Randy, obviously, that could happen. But Liv and Stephanie last night, violence. You know what I mean? Like, that was straight violence. Jade and Rhea, I don't want to say my fault. Brock and Oba, again, Hell in a Cell possibility. And maybe we get that later down the line. But the Jade Rhea stuff, I feel like if you would have started the feud right after Twitter, right after the back and forth, you could have been like, yeah, this is a match that's going to be a grudge match more than a championship match.
Well, they definitely have the grudge match vibe. Like, just the two of them standing in the ring together, you're like, oh, fuck. It feels like there's bad blood. And that's not just from like extrapolation from Twitter beef. It just you can feel the tension.
Yeah, it's good though. Like, there was a sense of urgency to Raw last night with like every sort of like story that they were continuing. And man, even from Seth and Heyman, everybody knows, like, it feels like WrestleMania, like, these are important weeks. Not just they're important weeks, but like the locations that they're at. Like, these are all big A markets that they're going to.
Yep,
so like you're getting big shit as you're heading towards, WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? Like, Boston's a big city. You're setting up a lot of stuff that's going to eventually end up in Madison Square Garden next week. You know what I mean? Like, MSG is always a massive show. So if you're doing your best to get that ready, you cannot ever, ever, ever shortchange MSG, right? Like, if you're setting
hopefully they give MSG more than 30 minutes of wrestling, which is what we got last night. Now, I understand you're talking about the stories they're telling, and that's the important part on the road to WrestleMania to really drive this stuff home, because we're not going to get any of these WrestleMania matches previewed. We're not going to get them in the ring together on an episode of Raw outside of your tag match, mix up or whatever. But yeah, not a lot of wrestling last night. All the matches seem to be about the things that happened before and after the matches.
Can I get 30-second timeout?
Yeah.
I'm about to go into the other booth. They're about to set up.
We also saw a furtherance of the IC title picture. Obviously, Finn Balor got involved with the Dom Mysterio Penta match. I'm still expecting a triple threat for those. Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee was officially announced. I think, and Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer got into a brawl in the entrance ramp and then backstage, and I think they're doing a pretty good job with that one, especially given that they had to sort of like turn the screws a little bit like right after the Rumble, and then we're kind of figuring out how to bide time. But Waters, what match are you of the ones that are announced? What are you looking forward to the most?
Ooh, well, definitely Brock and Oba. I'm just all into this feud, but I am looking forward to Stephanie and Liv, especially after last night. Like, it felt personal. And then even there's video of Liv and Raquel walking out afterwards. Javon Evans behind us. Clearly, like, fan doctor video. But Liv still looks upset. And that's what I like to see. I think she's great at what she does. And I don't think this is so much of a cut and clear, like, oh yeah, Liv's going to win just because she won the Royal Rumble. So I want to see the in-ring action with this one.
Let's see what else. We got obviously we had Bayley and Lyra win their tag team match and say they've been running the tag division for a year. That'll be news to a lot of people who actually watch WWE television. But actually all you have to do is go back and look at the Irresistible Forces promo from SmackDown, where they called out all the teams that are gunning for them. I'm pretty sure they just told us what the WrestleMania match is going to be. I mean, Kaz, you'd predicted a multi-team match, and I think Nia Jax just sort of made it official without making it official on Friday.
Right.
So that'll be interesting. And then what else? What else is remaining to be resolved?
Gunther.
Oh yeah, well,
I think that's the last. Yeah, that's the only thing.
It seems I meant to mention that at the top when we were talking about the injuries, because Ray is theoretically injured, and we don't know if he'll be ready. He's probably out there rehabbing with Bron Breakker right now, hopefully in the John Cena home recovery studio. It seems like they're leaving it open, and if for some reason Ray's not ready, then maybe they'll just slide Dragon Lee into that spot. You know, like just let him do it again, because Dragon Lee looks better every time he like has contact with Gunther, doesn't he?
Yeah, does. I mean, I don't know. I might be. This might be nuts to think, but I still think something's going to happen at the Hall of Fame with AJ Styles. That's going to get us AJ Gunther.
I mean, listen, it's fun to think about. I hope that's not. I hope that it's more than just thinking. What are they going to do with Javon?
Man, I don't know. He's got this thing with Kofi right now. Like, I listen. That's a WrestleMania match to me. Okay, like, to me, Kofi and Javon, that was a WrestleMania match to me. Does it make the card? I would hope so. I would love to see it.
Well, they got the first hour on ESPN. I mean, they got two big cards to fill up. When you're looking at the lineup, there's not a lot. I mean, we know we're going to have the Americano versus Americano. We know we're going to have that tag team match. We'll probably have an Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
You got to get Trick Williams on
in the U.S. title match. Trick Williams on the card as well. Like,
it looks. Are we just doing Trick versus Sammy straight up, or is that a stop on the road to WrestleMania? Because those two were not having fun, not feeling each other on SmackDown either.
I mean, they've been messing with each other. Well, Trick has been messing with Sammy. They've been messing with each other. Trick has been messing with Sammy for like the past several. Ever since he got on the main roster, like Sami Zayn's been like the person he's ragged on the absolute most. And with that, I could see. I don't know. I just feel like there's a possibility of the U.S. title being involved somehow. Like, there's still open challenges being done. Sammy can answer any one of those open challenges any day and win back his title. And then,
they put Carmelo and Dragunov back in the match together. But it sure seems like that's the WrestleMania match. It seems like they're just.
I wouldn't mind them running it back again at WrestleMania.
I think that Triple H has had that written in permanent marker on the dry erase board as like the Savage Steamboat of this year. We're going to give it 20 minutes. It's going to absolutely explode, But who knows? I mean, there's still a lot of ways they could go with that. SmackDown 2, we have the new tag champs and R-Truth and Damian Priest.
Wet by Truth.
Is that what we're calling it?
I don't know, but that's what I'm calling them. It's the Wet by Truth.
I didn't know about the whole Wepa thing until it started appearing on T-shirts. But why did they not call the Damian Priest and Bad Bunny tag team Weapons of Mass Destruction? Wouldn't that?
Because they weren't a tag team.
Right, they were against each other. They were only friends backstage. I forgot. They should have just
Weapons of Mass Destruction is hilarious.
Look, they can use that in the future. It's free for WWE. Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff coming. Listen, the R-Truth Damian Priest tag team is just so
zany. Zany's the word.
They have two different tag titles. They should have two divisions, one for real tag teams and the other one for like single stars that don't have anything else to do right now. That should just be like the name of the division. But yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, except have R-Truth's entrance at WrestleMania and whatever else. So there's a lot more matches, a lot more titles to figure out.
And also, not all of them are going to end up on WrestleMania card. Like, that's another thing we got to keep in mind. Like, somebody really dope or important is going to be left out for this card. It happens every year. And
of all of
they're
the people
playing into it with Bayley, you know what I mean? Like they're making that part of her storyline.
Well, it's an actual part of her storyline. Of all of the people that we've mentioned, I know this is going to make you mad, but I'm not wishing for it. The one I could see actually being left off would be Trick, but because they would find some like host rule for him that he would excel in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, couldn't you see Trick being like the unofficial or the official host of WrestleMania 42, and then like Stone Cold Steve Austin stuns him at some point, and we're like, that was as good as having a match, you know? Like,
right. I could see him.
So yeah, so but who knows? I think they're going to try to find time for most of these people, and like I said, they'll probably do a battle royal. I mean, with the 2 pre-shows on TV.
Did they do one last year?
They did one on SmackDown.
On SmackDown, right?
Yeah.
And the tag titles, I believe, is on SmackDown.
Oh yeah. That's right. Oh yeah, that's right. They had a couple of the big matches the night before. So yeah, we determined that last year. Friday is just sort of the unofficial pre-show of WrestleMania. But now we're back to having an official pre-show on ESPN. So, you know, maybe they'll save a lot of the stuff for that. I don't know. This is really far afield, but
this could be a one-nighter.
It could absolutely be I didn't want to go there. You just said it. The matches that we're sure about is a great one-night WrestleMania. Yes. But then we just mentioned 10 more matches that are probably going to come together. So what do you know?
Aren't they always one night WrestleManias?
That's true.
If you really think about it, like there's always a night that always kicks the other night's ass. Like,
well,
I don't know if has there been a WrestleMania in the 2-night WrestleMania era where like both nights are just like
no, but you can make the case.
Dunks?
But you can make the case for all the main events being worthy of the. I mean, you can say what you want about Cena Cody, I guess, but like it was big enough to hold down a night as a main event, right? And if you look back through, I mean, listen, we everybody listening to this is probably not alive during the early WrestleManias, but like those early WrestleManias that we remember so fondly are some real rush together cards, you know? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's obviously the main event, the IC title match, there's stuff with some history, and then there would just randomly be like, you know,
some
Hillbilly
Jim and two little people versus King Kong Bundy and 2 little people.
Opening acts, you know what I mean? Like it would just be like, oh, you guys are just here to get us ready for the real fights.
To get the crowd hyped up, tell some jokes, like whatever. So yeah, it's interesting. But here's my question for you guys: do you think the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, if they are going to have one, do you think that's a good thing to put on the free pre-show on ESPN to draw people in, or do you think? Would you rather go with something like just a 1v1 banger?
I mean, I subscribe to the rule that the biggest match, the most important match of the card is the opener, and the biggest match is the main event.
But does the pre-show count as the opener?
Oh, no, it does not. The pre-show is the pre-show. You know what I mean? Like but
if it's free on ESPN, it's trying to get people to watch WrestleMania. What's the best match you could put on Saturday at 6:00 on ESPN to get people to buy?
The best match. It's probably Brock and Oba, but I have a hard time believing that they're going to go on that early.
Maybe it's Melo versus Dragunov.
Maybe.
I mean, to have people just going like, "Holy shit, this is what wrestling is now." You know, if you're not a committed buyer, that could be a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We're definitely going to get, by the way, I was watching Raw with my 7-year-old, just a couple of notes here. He loves Danhausen.
Solid.
He's constantly asking where the 6'7" guy is whenever he's not on the screen, that being Javon Evans. So Javon Evans has fully.
I thought you meant the real 6'7" guy. I'm like, there's a 6'7".
No, Javon Evans, by virtue of his look, his
around teenagers all the time. You know exactly what.
Yeah, by virtue of his moveset and that T-shirt, is officially like the most beloved wrestler for children in America. I'm sure. He loves all the luchadors, but constantly, I don't know if he's confused about which is which or if the masks kind of freak him out. And he owns like a proper Rey Mysterio mask, not, just like he gets it. But he's always asking if if whatever luchador he's watching is a good guy or a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I and then he came to me with like, do they know who's going to win?
Oh.
And so I was like, yeah, Like, I'm not going to lie to my kid. Like, what, you know? And
he was my kids all the time, baby.
No, I mean about wrestling. No, I mean what, like, no, whatever. And he was like, "Do they know who's gonna?" Well, he was asking me a bunch of detailed questions, but it was the sort of thing where it was like he was asking. He's smart, but he was asking it in such a way that I thought we had already had the conversation because he was leading it, you know, or maybe he heard about it at school or whatever. And so I was like, "Yeah, they do," but you know, it's still. You know, I tried to give him the kids' version of it. It's even more impressive that way. And I was like. He was just watching like Sonic the movie for the 100th time or whatever, and I was like, "You know how Sonic's going to end. You know, the people who made Sonic knew how Sonic was going to end before you saw that movie." But like, I was like, "If you watch Sonic 100 times, is Sonic ever going to lose?" And he was like, "Maybe one time." I was like, "Okay, that's actually probably the best reading of
that's
pro wrestling."
Answer.
Yeah. So yeah, shouts to Aubrey for getting that right. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. People online are tired of this, but maybe they're just being performatively tired of it. I think this is like a great WrestleMania match. Do you disagree?
Yeah, I think I do disagree. I think the matches have just been okay. You know what I mean? Like, I like Becky Lynch. I think Becky Lynch has been doing some excellent work. But, you know, there's something about the AJ stuff that just isn't connecting with me, man. I'll be honest. Like, I don't know if it's like, it almost feels like she still needs more reps in front of live crowds with the mic by herself.
I was going to say the same thing. She needed to go on the house show loop that would have been going on right now in the Northeast or whatever. Like, that's where she needed to spend 2 weeks on the road working matches. Her promo, I mean, I still think her promos are really good, but it's weird how like my wife is kind of out on them, and like, you know, to hear people commenting on her online. She's a very like 1.0 version of the modern wrestler. She's a little bit too performative in her promos. She's like putting on a character. She's a little bit too, I don't even know what the right word is. She's just not there in the ring in the way that I mean, and again, a lot of ring rust, a lot of time spent, but I just think she's from a different generation, you know, the same way that like the
Bella Twins?
The Bella Twins are not 100% there, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a whole different generation of workers. And to me, AJ reminds me a lot of John Cena. I know it's going to be sacrilege in some quarters, but like John was still cutting the same promos that he cut 10 years, 15 years before with the same silly voice, you know? He had at one point like progressed a lot in the ring, but it was all still a little bit clunky. You know, it was just sort of like, but you were so amazed that he was able and willing to do the stuff that he was doing. But I think especially for AJ coming from an era where there was not a lot of competition, I mean, she was the best female wrestler a lot of us had ever seen on TV, you know, like when she wasn't even like, you know, I mean, that's an overstatement. Obviously we had a lot of other ones who were like, but they were all sort of islands. You know, it was like there was just one great female wrestler, and then, or maybe two. But I think I think that's I low key think that's why they keep going back to it. I know it's crazy, but it's like, I kind of feel like AJ and Becky are going to keep fighting until AJ has a 4-star match, you know, until she like wears off the ring rust, like figures it out. But we'll see. That'll be a good one. Is there anything, we got to get out of here. This is going to be a short one today.
Shout out to Sid going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's going to be a legacy induction in the Hall of Fame. What does legacy just mean? You're dead? I don't mean to be too crass about this, but like,
I think that's like when they don't give him like the Hall of Fame induction speech.
Oh, it means you don't get a speech,
right? If I'm not mistaken. Like, I went to one when like Stan Stasiak was getting inducted, but he was in the legacy.
Stan Stasiak, wow.
That's Meat's father, the father of Meat. In case you weren't aware, Stan Stasiak was an legit old school badass, and deserves, you know, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, no question about it. Sean Stasiak was just an absolute legend.
Dude was a unit, dude. the Sean Tom Bomb.
Yeah,
bad dude, man. I thought he had it. He's like my Charles Hamilton of wrestling, yo. Like,
you see somebody, rapper Charles Hamilton?
Yes, he's my Charles Hamilton. Or it's just like, oh man, this guy's got it. Like, he's going to be something, and then just nothing at all.
Oh man, that weirdly I think is an insult to Charles Hamilton.
It might be. It might be. Brooklyn Girls is my jam, son.
Brooklyn Girls is a great song, man. I mean, there's just
like a Brooklyn girl. Ain't nothing like a Brooklyn girl.
Yeah, that's the great thing. Like a hip hop artist is great when they're like releasing their sellout track and they're doing it very self consciously.
Of course,
it's like you need a little, but he doesn't have to say it. He might have said it. Sean Stasiak had no self awareness. I'm sorry. Meat was just he did look the part, but that's about as far as that went. Anything happened on Collision? I know that's when
Leo Rush is out of here, son.
Oh my fucking God. Blackheart Leo Rush. What is happening with this? I meant to message you guys about this. Is he an animal?
So have you ever seen his Blackheart gimmick before that he does?
I thought I had, but I did not see him running around on all fours and diving out of the ring.
Well, what really sort of like brings it together is the baldy now. Like he got the baldy and the contacts, and he looks legitimately nuts. Like, and I saw some tweet, but like almost every clip that AEW put out of Blackheart Leo Rush has done like 8 million, like just millions of views.
Really?
Like, yeah, just like super viral. Just that crawl across the ring, that like leopard sort of gallop that he does before he hops out the ring. It's like
crazy. When he did that, it was nuts. It was like watching a bear that only walks on his hind legs. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know he could make it look that natural.
So what the fuck? But shouts to Leo, man. That's my guy.
Well, if it's gone that viral, he might be the next, AEW champion. We just keep an eye on him. I'll tell you what he looked like to me with the contacts and the shaved head and the general small stature. He looked like a dude you'd see in the club and just be like, nobody go within 10 feet of that guy. Not because I'm scared, but because I don't want to have anything to do with that conversation, whatever that's going to be.
It's so weird. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
We're watching the video right now. Yeah, it's just nuts. Absolutely bonkers.
But he's completely nailing it. It's like he's so bought in. He is so bought into this thing, and he's been doing it on the indies for a long time. And I could tell he's really wanted to bring this to like television for a long time. And I think it could work. It's weird enough to work. It's unique enough to work. Like nobody can do that. Whatever the best note of advice you can give to any wrestler is like, if you're good at something and you could do something that nobody else can do that shit. Stand out. Yeah. And he's sure as hell standing out with that. So
no, it's definitely cool. There's definitely a lane for it. It'll be interesting to see
creepy.
How that gets creepy as hell. It'll be interesting to see how much runway he gets. I mean, if those numbers are real, it seems like he'll get a lot. Let's see what else. Oh, this Collision was the one that Josh Alexander got legitimately hurt on. There were a bunch of injuries this week. Who got knocked up in NXT too? What's his name?
Knocked
the French
up?
LaFleur. No, like knocked out. Like got beat up. Got knocked out. LaFleur. Ario LaFleur got possibly a knee injury, which would be really sad if that's true. And there was another one too. Who else got hurt on that same card? Huh?
Was it Lexus King?
Yes, Lexus King got a concussion or something.
Tough.
He says he's feeling okay.
All right, well, that's good.
Glad he's all right. Damn.
Yeah.
You don't want to get hurt this time of the year, buddy. I'll tell you that.
No, absolutely true. Are they even taking NXT to Vegas this year, though?
No, they're in St. Louis for Stand and Deliver, so it's a standalone.
That's a real FU. That's just like, we've had reports that there's too much underage drinking going on in the spring break trip. So for the spring break trip is now canceled for the whole high school.
It's like, you're going to St. Louis instead of Vegas. Jesus.
I mean, I personally would rather be in St. Louis, but if you're not, it'd be fun to be at WrestleMania as opposed
to barbecue.
Yeah. As opposed to like the St. Louis Radisson or wherever they're staying. What else? We got to get out of here. But last thing. What's going on with the Street Profits, dude?
Oh, God, what a random question. I have no idea.
There have been a couple of notes about that.
One of them just walking. Angelo just walking a baby.
I was glad to say, I think Angelo just announced a baby.
Yes.
And Montez, it seems like when it sort of feels based on absolutely nothing. Like when Bianca got injured, they were just sort of like, Montez, you can take the time off to be with her. Why not? We don't have anything urgent for you. And then her injury has just kept it, which they thought was going to be a couple of months, is now stretched into like, how long has it been? A year? And they've just been gone most of the entire time. But remember, I think more than anything that we can blame the fucking, I mean, I don't mean to curse at them, but the Wyatt Six and the MFTs, like once they just took over the SmackDown tag division, all those great teams just freaking disappeared. Remember when the SmackDown tag division was like the best part of the show?
Mm-hmm.
And now we have like the Motor City Machine Guns breaking up over Johnny Gargano's coma. Like I don't even understand what's happening. So anyway, I hope that we see the Street Profits again someday.
Yeah, me too.
Like Montez Ford is legitimately going to be gone and potentially miss his singles window. You know, it's like by the time he comes back, we're going to have too many other people to talk about to be like rooting him to the top. But we'll see. I'm sure he can still make it there. Anyway, that's ending on a down note. Kaz, send him home happy. Give him some plugs.
Yo, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. You can catch me on Mornings with Merrill, with Kid Merrill, Mia Bell, Shiny Culture, and DJ Kaz1. You can also watch us live on youtube.com/Hot97 from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Brand new episode of 7 p.m. in Brooklyn is out right now. Just me and the guys today. Me, Merrill, and Mello, catching up on all things hoops. And also this Friday, we're dropping a brand new special episode of 7 p.m. in Brooklyn with very special guest, J. Cole. Make sure you check that out. It's going to be really good. And then, catch us everywhere, man. You feel me?
Thanks for producer Brian H. Waters. Thanks for EP Ben Cruz. Thank you all for listening. Finn Balor is really going to be okay. I think he's going to have a big IC title match at WrestleMania anyway. Or he'll be involved with Dom somehow. It'll be a good look. He got a good pop last night. I'm saying too much. Boo your mama. We'll see you back here later this week, humanoids.
Peace.